we think that since the Party Processions Act was passed and the Parades Commission came into view, it has continually tightened the screw on the Orange institution and the other loyal orders and what we do, which is parading.
It's a 6-minute parade. That's how you refer to it. What's reasonable about making such a fuss over a short, specific issue?
Yes, well, that's the question that I would put to the nationalist and Republican groups who are opposing our parade. You know, what is the big difficulty about us coming down that road for 6 minutes? There's a basic question of respect here, tolerance. You know, why is it that the nationalist community and the Republican community feel that they cannot tolerate us coming peacefully down a road for 6 minutes?
OK, there's also a respect and tolerance issue the other way around. Why can't you be more respectful and more tolerant of the views of those nationalist residents who have a problem with it? They're prepared to accept it in the morning, they're not happy about it in the afternoon. Why can't you reach a compromise?
Well, what's the difference between the morning parade and the afternoon parade? You know, if they can tolerate us in the morning, surely what's the difference in the afternoon?
But is that not a compromise? I mean, you get something, they get something, and everybody else can get on with their lives in peace.
The real compromise here would be for the nationalist and Republican community and those who are opposed to our parades to be able to share this space with us. You know, we're only asking for 6 minutes, but I think it should be shared more evenly than that. And I honestly cannot understand what their difficulty is with a 6-minute parade down a road and back up a road in the evening.
Yeah, the difficulty is that they do have a problem with it, whether you like it or not, and whether you can understand it or not, or whether you choose to understand it or not, they have that problem. How do you persuade them that the Orange Order is not something for them to be fearful of or antagonistic towards, when all you keep saying is they need to fold and you need to be allowed to do what you want to do? Well,
I don't see it as being a question of them folding. And, you know, in many parts of the province, there is a much greater tolerance from the nationalist community. I was at the opening of an Orange Hall in Lochbrickland on Tuesday night, large crowd there. The local Roman Catholic priest wrote a letter of congratulations to the members of the hall. It was read out from the platform, very warmly received, got the biggest round of applause of the night.
But that was there. We're talking about the Ardoyne. Lochbrickland is fine. The problem is there has been a contentious parade in that part of North Belfast for a very long period of time. You can't just wish it away.
No, we can't just wish it away. And that's why our members and the wider community in North Belfast have been engaging in talks with the nationalist community for many months now. And why we have, and it's not just about North Belfast, we have other issues across the province. And in Drumcree, we were told for many years, no talk, no walk. And when we offered to talk, the nationalist group there who are opposed to us are refusing to talk, and they are still rewarded. Whilst we were penalised for not talking a few years ago, the nationalist community are now rewarded for not talking because the parade is still not allowed.
You've asked the government to consider an inquiry into the issue of the Ardoyne parade. The Secretary of State has said she'll think about that. She hasn't ruled it out at the moment. Isn't it a simple fact, though, that the Parades Commission is the lawfully constituted independent body to rule on these contentious issues, whether you like it or not? Oh,
absolutely, we accept that, and that's why we want that law changed. Our opinion is that this is a bad law, that the Public Processions Act is weighted against those who engage in parades. In a sense, it's weighted against the Protestant community because it regulates parades. It doesn't regulate other large-scale events that take place in the public space, like fairs or flags. It just regulates parades. And parades are the cultural expression, 90% of the Protestant community. And so that's why we feel this law is a bad law. We understand that it was brought in the late 90s, at the time when ceasefires were coming around, and we believe that it was a price that was paid for a ceasefire that is the price that was paid. That was part of the price that was paid for the ceasefire. But it is now having a bad effect on the democratic system in Northern Ireland. It is tainting and undermining democracy.
If the Parades Commission was producing determinations you liked, would you still be calling for it to be replaced?
A determination by its nature is something that restricts parades. And we don't. What we do is peaceful and lawful, and whilst we do that peacefully and lawfully,
you're not answering my question.
That should not be restricted.
Okay, but you're not answering my question. If the Parades Commission was producing determinations you liked, would you be calling for it to be replaced?
Yes, I would call for it. Yes, look, the legislation that sets up the Parades Commission is unfair and it's one-sided, and it should be replaced.
Okay.
It is a model, in my opinion, that is faulty. And I don't often agree with the leader of the Alliance Party, but David Ford, during this last week, indicated that he thought that the model that was brought out at around the same time for the administration in Stormont, for the political setup in Stormont, is faulty and needs repaired. I'm saying that this legislation is equally faulty and needs repaired.
Just briefly and finally, what if we see violence on Saturday night, like last year's violence, where loyalists and indeed some Orange men, and you'll have seen the pictures, came onto the streets and attacked the police on the 12th night? How can you be sure that won't happen again this year?
I can't be sure it won't happen, but what I can assure you is that the Orange institution has put a massive effort into calming the situation in Northern Ireland, into organising alternative protests across the country that will be controlled by the institution and which will be absolutely peaceful. And these protest parades will have a start time and finish time, and people will disperse thereafter.
And you don't think it's a risky strategy?
It is less risky than doing nothing. We are stepping up to the mark here to try and manage this situation. And if we did nothing, it would create a more volatile situation and increase the risk of violence. And we are doing everything in our power to stop that.